Hello, everybody. Reggie Time here. I'm here with Simon, and I've already forgot to share my screen with Simon. So that's a fucking absolutely tremendous start to the video. I shall do that momentarily, Simon, and then we'll get going, fella. Simon now has visual. He was struggling with something my current wife and ex-partner struggled with, in that it was a little bit too small to be useful to him at first, but he's made it bigger, which is something they've failed to do in the past. And yeah, we're good. We are now properly good to go. Um, right, Simon. Before we started recording, you were saying how you've invested in GTO Wizard, not in order to mimic a solver, just in order to like review your your own play. And I like the fact you've done that. I think it's a nice toy. How useful it is in terms of helping us develop strategies, I genuinely don't know, but I do think it's useful in order for us to assess our standard lines and see how much EV they are um, losing in theory, even though in practice maybe they aren't. So I think it's useful for that, because I think what happens in these games, and I know you were saying at first, like there's some players in the pool who know some lines, but none of them play even close to a GTO strategy. And you're right there. That's something I've been um, wrestling with for a while, because you see people and they'll take lines that you see solvers taking, and then you think, oh, this guy's, clearly studying this that, and the other. Maybe he's more theory based. But then you look at their ranges and they're not. So I think what happens a lot in these games, and it can make you feel players are better than they are. It's certainly a trap I feel have fallen into. Is you'll see people taking solver approved lines. Like you'll see them firing the turnover bet. You'll see them using small bets. You'll see them using solver approved 3-bet sizes pre-flop. But what they don't do, and we can see that by the stats we have on them when we build them up, is they're not using solver designed ranges to do that. We can tell that by their betting frequencies, by the hands they routinely turn up with, by the hands they don't turn up with, by their river, like bet river and one statistics. All these things all add up to show us that people may be finding the bet sizes that solvers are finding more often. You see a lot less. Like, for example, now you see people who like half pot in position on the turn after C bet and the flop small. You can look at that person and say, right, I don't think this person studies particularly hard, because that is not a line. It's not a common line in like the fourth quarter of 2023. You don't see it. If you see someone using like a half pot size in position on the turn after C bet and flop, you typically think, well, I was expecting to see like much larger bets or checks there, for example. So it makes it easy to identify which players are maybe working with solvers and which aren't. But I still think it's folly to assume that many people are using solver approved ranges. So what they are doing, they are finding many of the value bets that solver finds, especially at top of range, and they're using the sizes that solver wants to find quite often. But then they're not remotely balanced with that. They're not finding anything like the bluffs that they're supposed to find. So actually, it can be a little bit confidence sapping if you're then going to start, if you're trying to mimic the solver too much and you're finding the calls the solver wants to find versus the sizes that you're seeing. If you start trying to find all the calls there, you're going to get your ass kicked, because ranges just aren't the same. And I know you've had like a relatively bad week. I've seen the hands you've sent me. I haven't looked at them yet, but I've seen the results of them, and they ain't pretty. But I'm wondering what, like, is it? Would you put it down to like maybe the reviewing you're doing of hands is leading you to maybe call down a little bit too often, for example, or something like that, or do you think it's just been a bit of a mixture of
No,
bad
I don't.
variance, and like you maybe making some taking some different lines that are new to you that maybe aren't good in the pools that you're in?
No, I don't. I don't think it's that. I think that look, the pool that these hands come from is very very tight. In reality, it's very nitty. Um, so in a lot of areas, I'm probably overfolding in some spots. I don't think I'm cooling down. No, I don't think so. I think some of these hands we can look through them and we'll see. But as I said, one of the things I want to know is whether I could have and should have got away from some of them. I know in some of them I should have done, where I've reviewed them myself afterwards, which is what I haven't. That's the good thing for me about with GTO at the minute is I used to tag hands, and then it either didn't look at them at all after the session, or looked at them and went, okay, not really sure what I need to be looking at here.
Yeah, yeah.
So
yeah.
What the Solver's giving me is a bit of structure around reviewing stuff, which is quite useful. But I wouldn't say I'm trying anything particularly outlandish off the back of it, because I just don't think this pool plays that way. In reality, I'm just looking at my lines and saying, well, okay, what could I or should I have done here, or what the solver want me to do here. That's not necessarily the right thing to do in game in this pool, but
No.
Interesting to know what the solver wants me to do.
I think like when we've got the initiative, when we've got the range advantage and all those things, I think following what the solver wants us to do typically is a good thing.
Yeah,
Like knowing how we want to proceed in 3-bet pots when we flopped an overpair on a 8 high board or a 9 high board or a 7 high board. Like we can learn some good stuff from that. Because I think like in terms of when we want to be taking aggressive lines, the solver's a pretty good thing to learn from in terms of how we want to use our sizes, what our frequencies want to look like. That's pretty good. But when I think the solver isn't good to like take advice from is when we're facing aggression.
yeah,
Because solver wants us to defend way like a way larger portion of our range than we actually want to in reality versus the actual players that we're up against. Because quite frankly, they're not finding the bluffs. They're not finding as many of the like slightly weaker value bets, and the range is just way more concentrated more often. This isn't opinion. This is pretty much just fact. They're most players, like you look at the players in this table, the 20/18 guy, the 21/17 guy, they're just going to be way too like centered around value or like high equity, like decent equity spots in their post-up game, and they're just not going to be finding the weird, like you aren't, like I aren't, like almost everybody else in this pool. They're not finding the random stuff that when you look at a solver, it's like, oh, solver wants to fucking bet 2x pot here with Queen 6 suited when Queen 6 suited is just air, and then you look at it for 10 minutes wondering why it wants to do it, and you just walk away scratching your head like no idea why it wants to do that, no idea why it's fucking picked that. But all I really need to know in terms of like how I'm going to review this hand is I don't know why Solber's picked it, and I'm not a moron, so I'm going to guess that most of the players I'm playing against at 25 an L or 10 an L or whatever, they're not picking that either. So I'm going to take some of these random bluffs away from their range, and then just try my best to reapproximate my equity. So if I've got a call that Solber's saying is making me one big blind 100, so if I fold, I'm technically losing EV, but that part of that one big blind 100 is built up because they've got Queen 6 suited and fucking, I don't know, fucking Ace 7 off in range that villains never have in reality. Then I go back, well, this is much closer, and I'm not too worried about it. I'm not going to lose sleep because I've made a call that's cost me EV. And I think that's the way to do it. Like you can learn a lot from when we have the range advantage, when we're supposed to be the one doing taking a lot of the aggressive action. I think it's really good for that. I think it's much less good for studying spots where we're meant to be defending our range, because I think we're defending our range against villains who aren't finding all anywhere near the required amount of aggression for the solver to be giving us good advice on what we should actually have done in game.
yeah, yeah.
Anyways, we've been ranting. Well, we've been chatting for 10 minutes.
We've
Let's
lost
start
Ryan.
getting
We've
stuck into
lost
some
Ryan at
hands.
this point.
No, we haven't lost Ryan because Ryan loves it all. Ryan's fucking Reggie time for life. He constantly trolls me in our smaller server, congratulating me on my videos that are getting tens of views. He did a little voice clip skit yesterday of my application for Game of Gold on GG. It was fucking brilliant, to be fair. It was because he knows I can't stand Kevin Martin too. It was really good. It's like a little 40-second voice clip, and I mean his impression of me is awful. I don't sound anything like he sounds like, but it was fucking good. But we've got Ryan for life, so it's all good. He might just he might just use this to troll us again. No. Anyways, we've got this ace deuce blind versus blind. Button been open from a complete unknown.
Yeah. So I've got more hands on this guy.
All right, okay.
So not many. I've got 230 hands on him. He's 30, 22, 7.
One of them types then, okay.
Yeah. I can go two ways here. Sometimes I'll three bet this, but in reality, I'm just calling most of the time.
Yeah, I don't think I'd three bet this very often. I have no idea how much Solve wants to do it. I'm not super well studied in pre-flop. Oh, that's a flop, isn't it?
It's okay. It's okay.
That's a flop. So go on straight away.
Yeah. So obviously it's a nice flop. We've got a straight draw and flush draw, which is lovely. I'll be checking here though. 9 times out of 10, it's very rare. I'll be betting. I mean, we probably can have some leads here.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we would have some leads here. I mean, I don't know if we'd have leads in theory. I suspect we might have some, but I think in practice it's a very good spot to lead. Very good. I don't really want to check call. I don't think, and I don't think I want to check raise. Yeah, I think I like lead best here. Okay. But we checked.
Why do you not like check call here? Sorry,
I don't mind check call. I mean, we've obviously got loads of equity.
Yeah.
But I think too often, when we have got the worst hand, he's going to keep putting money in, and when we've got like the best hand, he's not, if you will. So I say he's got a hand like pocket queens here or whatever, and then say the turns the 8 of clubs. I think he's just going to like just keep betting. Pressing his advantage against our flush draws, against our weak made hands, etc. But when he's got a hand like ace king off that we've now got dominated to fuck, he might see bet flop and then just rarely barrel turn.
Right.
So I think this pot only gets big when villain wants it to. And I don't really like check raise very much because we've got like a decent amount of equity, but I think when people see bet these boards, then doing it with not super great intentions of folding to raise. I really like check raising lots of flops, like blind versus button in these like pretty wide spots and big blind versus cut off. I like having quite a wide check raising range because I think people stab too wide too often and then give up. But I think on these boards, they just like people look at them like your average shit reg looks. Oh, it's a good board for the big blind, and I think they just significantly lower their c-bet percentage because they don't want to get check raised. If they've got a hand like king queen off, like, oh, I don't really want to get raised here, it would stink, I've got 2 overcards, blah blah blah. They'd rather, rightly or wrongly, and I don't know what king queen off does on this board, for example, but they will check back hands that in position that, and they want to try and hit a pair or something before they start value betting. So I think a lot of the hands where we like, today's got jack queen off here or 10 jack suited or something, I think very often they're not going to bet, so we find it hard to prevent them from realizing their equity,
right?
And then we end up check raising against stronger ranges that we have less fold equity against, which I think is why I prefer donk actually. Because when we donk here, it's hard for them to find too many raises, and even if they do, we don't care because we've got enough equity to continue. I think like the donk here freezes a lot of overpairs. If we donk here for say 1/3 pot, half pot, 2/3, doesn't really I don't really care. If we just find a donk here, I think like hands like pocket queens, pocket jacks, quite often many players will not find a raise with them. And we just get to like build a pot on our own space against like hands that might peel. Say someone's got queen jack off here with the diamond, they might peel one bet, and then we might bet a turn. If we turn a diamond and they've got the flush draw, they might call another bet. I just don't like the sort of check raising here because I think the vast majority of players in these pools will not see bet this particular flop wide enough. So I think the fold equity that we'd like to have to go along with our actual equity maybe isn't there, in my opinion. So I think as played, I would just call here. But I think I probably would have preferred leading flop. You do raise, which I don't hate, of course. I mean, how can we hate it? We got nut flush draw, we got a pair, we got a gut shot. But if he's got pocket queens, we're still we're an underdog. We're not a huge underdog, but we're a slight underdog. And if he now three bets us, then we just have to run it in a spot where we're probably flipping versus range,
Yeah.
which isn't terrible. Don't get me wrong, but it feels a shame when you got a hand that's got this much equity and we get all the money on a coin flip. It's kind of like there, can we do better than that? Right. Oh, fucking hell, this is a scary three bet.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is. I really want to review this hand because I'm just unsure what to do versus this.
Well, this guy's one of those aggro fuckers in it. Did you say 32-20 something?
He's 30, 22, 7.
So he's the type that might go potty over playing hands as weak as like nines here, isn't he? You would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
And I think, at this point, I think he's made the race so large. We can't just call here, We can't just call and then miss and then probably still have to check call off anyway. But I also think we have no fold equity when we jam now. I think it's incredibly unlikely. I mean, his size, I don't know what Sober's going to make of his sizing here and his line. It seems fucking shit to me because his size is just egregious. It's like 4x in position.
Yeah.
It's just someone who's just saying to me, right, mate, I've got an overpair and I want to get it all in very, very quickly because I don't want to deal with stuff.
Yeah.
This is what this looks like to me. So I think we're not going to get folds. I think he's just going to snap our cock off with anything from 8s through kings, probably.
Yeah.
But at the same time, and if, for example, now we need like 35% equity to call this bet. If we'd gone all in, we'd probably need something like 40% equity to call. And then we've got that. Assuming he's just got pocket kings here. Let's hope it isn't aces. If it's he's got pocket kings, we've got 3 aces to hit. We've got 9 diamonds to hit. We've got 2 deuces to hit. So what's that? 3, 11, 14. And then we've got our straight draws. So we've got like 18 outs. So we're probably like a slight equity favourite versus kings. So we don't hate it. If he's got aces, then we're not doing quite as well. So I guess we just get it in here and be like, okay, we're behind, but we're an equity favourite, so let's just fucking go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure he does that with aces personally, but who knows? I mean,
who knows?
I just don't think he goes that big with aces.
Well, I think he's just in overpair territory that just wants to protect.
Yeah.
And we're almost certainly an equity favourite against. Well, not almost. We are an equity favourite against that. So I guess we just run it, but it just feels like do we really want to just like from when this flop comes down, are we really in a big rush to just pile 100 big blinds in? Maybe we are. I'm not personally. I would have heard a donk line. He maybe would have raised. But then we could. I think that if we donk, then he raises. I think then our 3-bet actually has some fold equity because his range for like raising versus donk is going to have some hands in that are just going to want to fold. Whereas when we check raise and he 3-bets, I think this range doesn't have any folds in it.
Yeah.
So I think like by donking, we sometimes generate some useful fold equity. By taking this line when he does this, we don't have fold equity anymore. We've just got to get there. But we've got the right hand to try and get there with.
Yeah.
So I guess we're just all in and let's flip a coin, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't like call here, and I felt I had plenty of equity to just ship this.
Yeah. Yeah, we have. I mean, we put ourselves in this position. Now we just got to like rely on our equity to fix it up more often than not, which it will do mathematically. That's not a good run out. I guess you're going to lose.
And he had pocket face. So.
Yeah, the set. Yeah. Strange that he wanted to fast play his set so quickly there. We have straights. We have ace-4 probably pure. We have 6-4 probably pure. We have pocket 5 probably. I mean, when you think about like all the hands in our range, it's really doing that good against a range that wants to get it in because at best he's up against the type of hand we've got here, or maybe it's a naked flush draw where he is like a 60-40 favourite. But other times he's going to be drawing dead to 5s. He's going to be drawing to a boat sometimes when we have straights. Yeah, I think Villeneuve's significantly misplayed his hand here.
Mm.
But I think whatever happens, once that flop comes down, that money's going in.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how do we choose to do it, I guess, because it's going in. It's steel wheel draw versus middle set. I mean, if the money's not going in there, where is it going in?
Yeah.
I guess. So we'll have a quick look at that one in the solver because I'm interested if we do have any donks here, and if we have check raises. I think they're two things that I think probably mixing on both, but I'd like to see that how much it's mixing it. So we've got ticks, so we're good. Happy days. Pre-flop, it's mixing 3-bet a little bit as you thought it might.
Yeah.
I'm just pure calling it. It
Yeah,
prefers
it
donk,
prefers it.
slightly prefers donk, but it doesn't matter, you know. It's mixing the two pretty much 50-50, but it slightly prefers donk. When we do check, it prefers just call.
Yeah. Which you said as well. I think you said yeah. For all the reasons you said, I think you're right as well.
It doesn't hate our 3-bet, of course. I mean, he's just not. I'm interested to see what his like 3-bet size is meant to be. We'll go and study that in a minute because this to me feels way too big, but we'll find out for certain. And then we just obviously call it off, and it's a slightly losing call. Probably losing to Rake, I imagine.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised at. I thought like this would be plus EV here to just. It's actually saying it's higher EV to call than it is to jam. And I thought jamming would be very, very. I mean, it's similar enough EV, but I thought there'd be almost no difference in EV between jam and call. Maybe versus jam when he calls, we're always behind him. Maybe versus call, we're still ahead of his plus. Maybe that if we jam here, he's meant to fold like 7-8 of diamonds, for example. Whereas when we call, that stays in. And then we're ahead of that. We'll have a look at what he's meant to fold. Is he ever meant to fold a flush draw when we jam? If he is, that's probably not good. And then whatever, yeah, we've done it now. We know what happens. The rest. So things I'm interested in looking at is, first of all, what's his turn size meant to be when he 3-bets? Sorry, flop 3-bet size meant to be. Because I don't think it's meant to be that.
No.
So what's he meant to do with pocket threes here? He's meant to just pure call pocket threes anyway.
That's why I felt it should be a call with pocket threes, but
yeah, so it's just not a fucking thing. He's just basically playing call or fold. He's not meant to have 3-bets. I didn't think he was. He's just not meant to have fucking 3-bets in this spot. When he does, he's meant to just go to this size, like half pot, click the half pot button, and yeah, it's just going to be flush draws basically. It's all these flush draws. Pocket five sometimes wants to do it. Tiny bit of overpair, straight, and a few like random. I guess he's well just ace of diamonds hand of the year. They just want to put some pressure on. So yeah, it's just not meant to have a 3-bet in range. So when we do jam, like, what's it leaving his calls as? Yeah, it's probably why I don't like it because he's just going to call all of the time. With what? Yeah, this is because he's not meant to have shit, isn't it? This is just not meant to have shit. Like, you're meant to have queen deuce of diamonds. He can't have that because we've got the deuce of diamonds. Ace 4 off's a straight. Yeah, this is why, because he's just not meant. This is why it's probably losing EV because he just doesn't have he's not meant to have a raising range. So we're probably just not meant to have a fucking jamming range, I guess. It's just a spot that's it's close to being non-existent.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised. No, yeah, sorry, I'm surprised. Like, well, what I'm surprised by. There was something I was surprised by, and I can't remember what it was now. It's hard work getting old. It's hard work getting old. I don't even remember, and I can't be asked fucking wibbling along. So we'll just move on to the next one. But yeah, I don't think you played that one badly. I mean, his turn raises, like, you can look at someone there, because I think we both kind of thought that this turn raise is nonsense. So when you see people like that, yeah, the hard work to play against, like 32-20, the hard work. But what you got to realise with most of these 32-20s, they're just shit.
Yeah.
They're just shit. They're just aggro fish, basically. and you need to treat them in that way. Because no, now and again they're going to stumble on a line that's really good, because just through their natural aggression, sometimes their natural aggression is going to make them stumble into a good line, and you're going to be like, "Fuck me, this guy's good," when actually they're just too aggressive.
Yeah.
Not with like all parts of their range, or with too many parts of their range, and you should just view them as like aggro fish. Right, so here we are with 2 3s. Limp. I guess we just complete here. We're not going to be able to do this one in GTO Wizards, so this one we're going to have to wing it, fella. Okay. I guess we're going to turn a 3 at some point. Check, check. Bet 1 big blind. Fold.
I mean, yeah, I can, but against this particular player, I'm not.
Why not?
Because he's just doing this with any two. And I know I've got. I'm happy to see. I know I've got someone behind here that could put me in the bin, but versus one, I'm just calling, and I'm happy to be flamed for that.
No, I'm not going to flame you, fella. I love you too much. But we just got really shit equity here. We're out of position. We got really bad equity realization. We got a bad hand. We're in the middle. We're in the middle of a sandwich.
Yeah.
Just fucking fold and get on with your day.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think you're probably right. But against this particular player, I've just decided not to.
I haven't seen these hands, but I'm going to imagine there's going to be a 3 of hearts appearing sometime sooner rather than later. Oh, there it is. And I promise I haven't seen them to confuse. I just thought this is the only way this hand can get interesting is if the 3 of hearts turns up.
It's better. It's better.
Okay. I guess we want to... Here's a problem, right? I guess we want to try and check here and let him keep being aggressive, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's only betting this shitty little 1 big blind all the time, I don't really want to check to someone if I think they're only going to bet 1 big blind. So I don't know if we just want to just start having leads here or not.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird spot. I can see leading being good. I can see checking being good and like raising versus small bets and maybe just calling versus big bets. What were you thinking?
I didn't have any leads at the time. I was a bit concerned about the flush, but I don't really put him on any flushes, to be fair, with what he's doing. But he obviously can have them because he's playing 54-34. He can have all sorts of flushes, I guess. And does he bet 1 big blind with a flush draw? Possibly. I was happy just to call to check call here again, just to see where we came out on the turn, really.
Right. Here's my issue with what you just said.
Sorry?
Here's my issue with what you just said.
Yeah.
This guy, you're right, he can have flushes here. He can have 6-7 offsuit with a heart.
Yeah.
He can have 9-7 offsuit with a heart.
Yeah.
He can have king whatever with a heart, Yeah. He can just have a king. He can have no hearts whatsoever.
Yeah.
And he doesn't like he structures his betting correctly.
Yeah.
I think I just like leading.
Okay. Yeah.
Check into this guy who's got a really wide range. He'd only bet 1 blind on the flop. So, yeah, well, he might just be sat here with the Jack 5 of hearts right now or whatever. Some random nonsense. Good for him. He's got way more. His range is just still really fucking wide because he's playing this 54 VP. You've probably got more hands on him. And you said he's like stabbing quite often post-flop, small stabs. So, when I, pick up like a decent chunk of equity against. All of a sudden, I think on the flop, I think we've got like very little, very, very poor equity and almost really hard to realise what little equity we've got. Now we've hit this turn. I think I'm just going to be like, right, well, okay, I think I'm probably a decent favourite now in this spot. I think I've probably unless he's got a flush, I think my equity is up at like fucking 90-odd%, 80 to 90% overall. Because sometimes he's just going to have a king, no heart, and he's drawing dead. Yeah. Sometimes he's going to have a pair plus a flush draw. So he's got like just his flush draw out to 18%. Sometimes he's going to have a flush where we're maybe needing to pair up to get a full house. But overall, our equity has got to be in the 80% plus region. Yeah. So when I think I've got like 80% plus equity against a moron, I ain't going to check to them.
I didn't think he had. I wasn't worried about the flushes here, but I think I chose to check raise here, which again leading may be better.
Now, check raising I don't love because if we reopen the betting and he reopens it once more, then yeah, we've got a set.
Yeah.
But things You know, this to me would be, and I think I've used this analogy before. I'm going to use it again because I like it. Right now, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. We're in a nightclub. We've had about 12 pints, and there's a girl that's dancing with us, and she's rubbing a fucking mound against our ever increasingly erect penis, and we're like, boom, we're in here, and this girl's fucking hot. And then you wake up in the morning after check raising, and the girl is about 19 stone. She hasn't washed her hair for 3 weeks, and your cock reeks of piss because she doesn't wash. You know, that's what this is here. It's basically, look at us, we've got a set, let's check raise. Oh, fuck, he's 3-bet, and all of a sudden, I don't really want to look at my hand anymore because versus his value range, all of a sudden, we're in a spot of bother.
Yeah, and what a beautiful analogy, first of all.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, you know. Whereas when we lead, he can still sometimes raise us with weaker hands and we just get to call. If he's a bad player, he might have, say, King Jack off here with the Jack of Hearts and decide to raise it because he's fucking useless. And we just get a really easy call with our hand. Sometimes he'll just call with a hand that's drawing dead and then call a river with a hand that can't win. I just don't like check raise here.
Yeah, and I think the other thing, maybe I don't know if it comes into it or not at this stage, because we probably fold to a check raise if he comes over the top, reopens the betting. I'm folding, but
we can't fold because we've got redraw.
Well, yeah, maybe that's true. Yeah, I get what you're saying. With his stack size, his leading's better here, isn't it? As well, I'm presuming.
I didn't even notice his stack size, to be honest with you. I just think leading in general, because you get these bad players who just relentlessly min bet flops. He might be doing this with such a wide range. He might have been doing this with min betting the flop with like ace 5 off or something that's going to check back this turn. But if it's ace or his 5's a heart, he's never going to fold.
Yeah.
If we lead. So I just prefer leading. We do check. He bets 1 blind again, which is what we were scared of. So now you're forced to raise because he's bet 1 blind and we want more than 1 blind going in. So we do raise. He calls. And we river a full house. This is absolutely fantastic news. So I guess we just check jam and hope he's got the flush. I guess.
Yeah, I think I choose.
Why have we done that?
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't love that. I think that I think.
Oh, hang on. I got the lines wrong. No, we check raise. He just called, didn't he?
Yeah.
Apologise.
Let me go back. You have to bet, don't you?
Yeah, we do. Of course we do. Sorry. So for some reason, because we talked so much about like him having the initiative, I forgot we've like check raised a turn, haven't we? So in that case, then I like. Yeah, we just have to bet. We have to bet. And you went with overbet, which I think overbet's entirely appropriate here. I probably would have gone bigger.
Yeah.
So yeah, I apologise. For some reason, I had it stuck in my thick, possibly ever so slightly on the way to early onset brain, that we had forgotten that we'd check raised and taken the initiative, despite the fact we looked at it just 10 seconds earlier.
Yeah.
I like this, but I think I might have overbet even bigger. He's not folding a flush. Maybe he's not folding a king. And we're not worried about the times that he's just like bet called the turn with a hand like ace 5 off because that's nothing now. We're not worried about like trying to get value from his like nothing type hand. So we're not worried about checking to let his nothing bluff. Because what I have noticed is on this very small sample is his river aggression drops off significantly. Only is over a small sample. So I like your line. I maybe would have gone slightly bigger.
Yeah, and he's 25. His river aggression for me is 25 over double the hands. I've got him slightly tighter than 54-34. So
right, okie.
But it's not. It's a very small sample.
So I like this. I like that as well. Just call happy days. If we beat tough shit.
Yeah.
But I expect to win in it all the time against flushes. Maybe he's got a 9 if we're really lucky. He's just like river trip 9s. Whatever. Okay then.
Yeah. I wish I did fold that 1 big blind on the fucking flop.
Yeah. Nice answer, I guess.
Yeah, nice hand. Right. Well played.
Let's move along. I've got nothing left.
Oh.
Simon Simpson is having PTSD.
Okay, right.
Go on. You want to? I can tell you what to preamble. So I'm going to have a drink and spark a vape up. You tell me what you want to tell me.
You're going to call me a cunt for this hand. I know it, but I'll explain myself afterwards.
Is that it? Is that the best you got for me? Is
Yeah,
that the best
yeah,
preamble
that's the
you've
best
got?
because this is pretty horrific. But I'll explain myself fully afterwards.
Right.
But look, there's no hiding here. I've given you this hand, so
Right. So we've got
right.
open.
What I'll do because we've got one hand here otherwise, and I need to give you some context. This guy who's just 3-bet here is 30, 30, 38. He is 3-betting so many hands. 30, 30, 38. So he 3-bet me 5 times out of 13 in the session, just for context. Take that as you will.
So we've got someone who's looking to be like really bad aggressive. They've also used a shit 3-bet size. So we've got enough clues right now that this guy's a fucking moron.
Yeah.
He's a pain in the ass moron, but he's a moron nevertheless.
Yeah.
I think this is just a cold 4-bet, and it's not even a decision. And given the reads you've given so far, I'm far more worried about this guy than I am this guy. So I would have called 4-bet here, and I would make it in the region of 21, 22 big blinds, I think. That's big. That's big. The problem here is that we still have to worry about this fucker.
Mm-hmm.
We put a lot of big blinds in.
Mm-hmm.
And this fucker's still got an uncapped range.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point, to be fair. Yeah, I agree with that.
I think my plan here would be make it 22, 21, 22. If this cunt goes all in, I'd be probably secretly wanting to fold. Whether I would or not, I don't know. But secretly, I'd be wanting to fold, whereas I'd be snapping this fucker's cock off if he jammed all in. I think we just spent too much here on this 4-bet. He calls, so that's all good news so far. Slightly irritating flop.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck your life. Absolutely fuck your life.
Yeah. I just wasn't interested here. I'll be interested in your views, but this is a snap call against this guy. Against this guy, it's a snap call. You just don't like. It's very villain specific. This hand, I've put it in there because if you want to roast me for it, you can, and that's all good. I'm more than happy with that. But I'm kind of happy with what I did here.
My initial thoughts are, I fucking hate our suits.
Yeah. That's fair.
I despise our suits. I'd much rather have the other two suits here because we just block so many of his potential, like Ace Jack of Diamonds. You can't have that. Ace Jack of Hearts. You can't have that. Same with Queen Jack, both suits. I don't know how much difference that makes. I'd be interested when we put this in the solver if it calls more frequently with the other jacks.
Yeah.
It does with these. I suspect it will.
The solver's going to hate my play from this point on, maybe. But I had very specific reads on this guy.
Okay, so where do you think his bluffs are coming from then?
It doesn't matter. He's any two. He's doing it with me. I think. In reality, I don't think he's thinking.
It's not. He can't be doing it with any two because he's called a cold 4-bet. So no matter what we think of him, he's still called a cold 4-bet. So he doesn't have any two. He's probably got.
Okay, so maybe that's a bit loose, but any ace here is fine for him.
Oh, so you think if he's got a hand like Ace Queen, he's just doing this?
Yeah, he'll do it with Ace 4, I reckon.
If that's your read, you've got to go with it.
Yeah.
I'd be concerned that read wasn't right, to be honest, based on what you said. But you played with him and I didn't. So, taking your read at face value, if you think he's got Ace Queen and Ace 4 in range, this is a snap, without question. So, we do snap. Wow, yeah. I mean, If he's doing that, then yeah, then how can I ever call you a cunt with this line?
Yeah, I mean,
So what did you think? What made you think I was going to call you a cunt for this?
because I think I just felt you'd say just fold, get out of town.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I would
yeah,
in normal circumstances, but if you've got a read,
yeah,
then I'm gonna trust your read.
yeah, yeah. And well,
You know,
look, I'd seen what he was doing. He wasn't just doing this to me. He was just super aggro. Just getting it in. Triple barreling, all sorts. There was just and turning up with interesting stuff. So, um,
I'm gonna put a nice little note on him.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to do it a PC note because sometimes the next word might not be PC.
I quite
I
like your fast fold notes.
aggro
Fucking
individual.
idiot.
Yeah, we're gonna put aggro individual, and I will change that after the video. I was talking to Juice the other day, and he was referring to one of the players in the other pool we play in as Reg, and he called him an erratic, and then the second word ended with the same three letters as erratic ends with. And
Yeah,
I was like, that would be a really cool fucking screen name for someone who didn't work in my line of work. And I said to my missus, because I'm due a screen name change on the other site we play on, and I can change it in 3 days. And I suggested to her, if I thought they'd allow that screen name, it's one I'd really fucking like to have. And because of the line of work we do, she was cross with me. She told me to fucking grow up and lots of other things. So yeah, I like it though. I fucking like it as a name.
yeah,
And put it this way: if I was creating a name now, I'd use it. But the fact on iPoker, you've got to talk to support and then actually put your screen. They say to you, right, you can change. Give us three, and we'll choose one of them or whatever. Or they give us three in order of preference. And I don't want to type that particular name in when I'm talking to another human. So I'll probably never get. But if I ever create a new account, there's got to be a chance that gets used as my screen name because I think it's fucking magnificent, absolutely magnificent, although incredibly distasteful.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah,
anyway,
no,
that's
I just think that call prints a lot of the time against this particular player. But yeah, I wasn't sure, to be honest with you.
if you've got to read, mate, you've got to go. The game's all about reads.
Yeah,
If you've got to read, you've got to go with it.
yeah,
Let's see what it wanted your 4-bet size to be pre. 'Cause I think that's the only decision here.
yeah.
So we've got an non-existing spot. We think it's because Villain just open ripped the flop. Oh no, pre-flop's non-existing. Okay. Why is it non-existing? It's our size.
Yeah,
It's so our size is all in. You've gone 28.
yeah,
GTO's been like, well, yeah, you're all in, then aren't you, mate? We're
right.
meant to just fold 74%.
Yeah, never against this player.
No, not against this guy. Yeah, that's right. It's non-existent. So sorry, we can't take it any further. GTO's just said, "Fuck off, lads. You're taking the piss." So we'll fuck off because we're taking the piss. Here's Queen suited, button open. Small blind 3-bet. Back to us. Let's have a look if this guy's versus me is a bit up. No, it's too small a sample. What's his pre-flop 3-bet from the small blind? That's what I'm looking for here. Not that it's particularly relevant. 2 from 8, small sample. Waste of time looking. So here, because we don't, unless you've got more reads on him than I've got, more notes, more hands.
I've got 400 hands on him. He's 2014-3 for me.
Oh, whoa. 2014-3. You're going orange then, sir. This can only be a call, and I think it's only going to be a call anyway.
Yeah,
But against some players in this pool, I would just be like, yeah, I'm all in, mate. Fuck off.
yeah,
You know, without question, there's some players in this pool, like the last guy from the last hand, for example. I'm just like, yep, I'm all in. Because there's some players in this pool that are 3-betting like 20% from the small blind. I can't be asked dealing with them, so I just try and play all in or fold quite a lot, and then I'm maybe flicking the occasional trap with aces and what have you because I'm a little fucking stainy cunt. But against someone playing 2014-3, I'm only ever calling here.
yeah.
I know you well enough to know I'm very confident you're not going to 4-bet this.
No, against some other opponents, Queen Ace off, I might 4-bet bluff, but with this one, I'm calling all day.
Yeah, which is what we do. Flop an ace. I imagine he's going to do his 1/3 c-bet at a pretty high frequency. Yep. Thoughts?
I think Just call here.
Yeah.
I mean, he can have ace king, he can have aces, jacks. Yeah, I mean, I'd just call here. There's no.
Theoretically, he should have a lot of other stuff here too.
Yeah.
Because he should have some good shots like your king queens, his king tens, all those types of things. Probably want to plump themselves in this size, at least at some frequency. We do call. Turn 9. He bets 1/3 again. I was expecting to see slightly bigger, but I guess this is okay.
Again, I'm just calling here.
Yep, I wouldn't do anything different. I doubt Solver would. I think we're in tick territory the whole way up to now. River 4.
I didn't like that.
Well, we don't beat value, do we?
No.
We do not beat value. This guy's got 100% won when bet river, but yeah, 1 out of 1, irrelevant sample size.
For me, it's 43%. Interestingly.
Right. Okay. And what's that over?
Let's have a look. 3 of 7.
And what is this C bet in 3-bet pot for you? Because I've got 100% 3 from 3.
C bet. Where are we? Where are you looking at? Sorry, just go.
So click on the flop, and then this bottom left section. 3-bet plus
50%. 1 of 2.
Right. So not much to learn from that, really. Oh, this is grim. If he was any good, he might just have some there are bluffs available to him here he can have. I don't know. I think Solver's going to tell us off for folding this.
Yeah, I mean, no spoilers. I fold here. I just think that I just think he can have ace jack. He can have ace king. Pocket aces and have jacks.
Yeah, I imagine this is going to be not a super plus EV call, even in the Solver world. I could be wrong. Yeah, I think we're getting told off, but I don't hate it.
What are you doing game here? You folding?
Depends.
Mm.
And you know what it depends on? How tilted I am. That's exactly what it depends on. How much this particular individual's got on my tits during the session and how tilted I am. I think if I'm playing well here, I just find a fold because I think we don't beat any value and I don't credit this pool with finding enough of the bluffs. If this guy's got the triple barrel with king queen and king 10 in his locker here, then I think we have to call. But has he got those in his locker? I don't know. I'm interested to see what Solver's saying, different, the EV difference between call and fold here is, because I think if it's really close in Solver land, then I think it's a snap fold in real world. But if Solver's saying this is an enormous overfold, I think we need to be at least considering calling sometimes. But we'll see. Here we go. We're going to get the result. I was just set aside while we're putting all this in. This one's a really, really interesting one. In terms of so we've got this blunder's going to be the river.
Yeah.
So it's significant river EV loss. Pre-flop it actually wants you to 4-bet, but not a chance against this guy for the reasons we stated earlier. It's wanting 4-bet. I think against someone who's 3-betting. What did you say it was? 2014 3, something like that? Or
2014 3.
Yeah. Solver can get in the fucking bin here.
Yeah.
We are not 4-betting ace queen off versus someone with those stats. We're just not fucking doing it. And this is going to have an effect on the rest of the hand, I imagine, in terms of how the Solver sees it. He now bets. We have a pure call. Turn. He bets again. It's actually wanting us to raise. That's drunk. Again, for the reasons that we already know. We don't have to go and study this spot in depth. We know this guy.
I mean, I have 0 raises there, let alone the amount they want it to be raised. It's just it's just a pure call for me. That maybe I'm wrong, but
and then river. Yeah, it's saying call is making 8. Yeah, this is because it's going to have them loads and loads of bluffs. I thought we were going to get a proper bollocking for this.
But you see, for me, right, this is what I was talking about pre. In these games, this call doesn't make money. I can't see it against this particular opponent. I can't see him triple barreling there unless I'm convinced he has us beat there. I think.
Well, let's see what he's supposed to have, and let's see which hands we want to take from his range. So on the river, he's what size is it giving him as going here? He's gone. The biggest bet we can use it isn't
41, isn't it? Probably.
But he's gone less than par, hasn't he? Bring it back up in here again. Do we start this hand deep? We must have done.
Yeah.
Oh, fucking Reg. Stop being a cunt. Clicking the wrong fucking buttons. Oh, yeah, we just started very deep, didn't we?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So, we're going to ignore the depth part of it. And on the river, we're just going to say he's bet all in, I guess.
Hmm.
That's the closest size. So for this line, his bluffs are meant to be all in. Ace 6 suited. Well, we don't think he has that to begin with. Do you think he's got Queen 9 suited in range?
Not at all.
No. 10-9 suited in range?
No.
Queen 10 suited in range? I think he's got these at some frequency.
At some
these.
He's possibly got King Queen suited, yes.
So let's look at like the different value hands he can have. Like, so what's his worst value hand here in your opinion?
Some Jack X, maybe. I don't. But that's not. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not very good at this bit.
No worries. Now let's look at his bluffs. His bluffs are going to be mostly king highs, we think, aren't they? So I think he's got all of them at some frequency, to be honest. But they don't make up that much of his fucking range, I don't suppose. Which is no-made hands. Queen 10 suited, you've eliminated that one, haven't you? I wouldn't totally eliminate it personally, but you have. Queen 10 off, I don't think exists.
No, I said I think he might have Queen 10 suited sometime, but not. I just don't. I'm not sure.
I think if he's got Queen 10, then he can absolutely have King 10 and King Queen as well, can't he?
Yeah.
So you have to give him all these bluffs. These are existing. So I guess like if we are saying we think he can have these bluffs, that's where to call, fella.
Yeah.
Unless you're willing to say he doesn't do it with these, then we can't do the overfold if we give him credit for having these. And I think that's why I think I agree with you. Like emotionally, you're that used to just seeing Ace King here, Ace Jack, Pocket Jacks, Pocket Aces. We're that scarred by seeing it. Because I think we've established this probably should just be a call. Because he just had they were his only bluffs really.
Yeah.
King high and no made hand, unless we think he's turning like third pair. I don't believe he's turning the third pair into bluffs. I don't believe he's turning a low pair into a bluff. But just with these bluffs alone, I think we just have to call. And I don't like calling off. I don't like. Well, I do it more often than I fucking should, but I don't like it because I lose too much. But I think this just has to be a call. Yeah, and I think like because we're so scarred by it that we just always convince ourselves that whenever a call here will lose. It's just not true though, is it? I don't think. And if we look back at his sizing, 1/3, now he wants to go massive. I think the turn is a bit of a clue here. If he wanted to set up to get stacks in, because we're super deep, he has to go bigger.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of bluff in here, mate.
Right.
Upon review, I think there's a lot of bluff. Then the river's just like, right, well, okay, now I'm just going to bluff big. I think there's a lot of King Queen in here. Yeah, I think this one's a mistake. And I take no pleasure in saying it, but I think this one you just have to make because his bluffs are so natural. They're easy. These are not hard bluffs to find. If we looked at this and the bluffs were like fucking round here and round here, these parts that we know people aren't having pre and they aren't having post, I'd be like, yeah, it's an underbluff spot. We can just overfold. But these bluffs, they're super. You can have all these hands in range pre, even someone with these pre-flop stats, because we don't know for certain yet because of sample size. he could definitely have all these in range pre-flop, and you could definitely see all these hands then taking the same line post-flop. So yeah, I think this one, I'm afraid, I'm going to call you a cunt for this one more than I am the previous one.
Yeah.
But I get why you've done it. It's because we're so fucking conditioned to just see nuts.
I just got this guy, as I say, 2014 3. What's he three betting there? It's a tight range. It's a very tight range, and I think he can have pocket jacks there, obviously, and
Now I think he's got two pair to use his size on the river. It's not ace king. That's what it isn't. It isn't ace king for this size.
Yeah.
So it almost certainly isn't anyway. So he's basically two pair plus his saying. He's either got a set of aces, that's hard to have. There's only one combination left. Set of jacks, very easy to have, and that would very easily want to go big because we look like we've got an ace. But and then ace jack, of course. But I sometimes think ace jack bets bigger on the turn. I sometimes think a set of jacks bets bigger on the turn. I think there's enough doubt here. Because if he didn't have a set of jacks, why is he only 1/3 in the turn?
Yeah, that's fair point.
He wants to build a bigger pot, doesn't he?
That's fair point. That's fair point.
So no, I'm afraid on this one, fella, I'm coming down on the side of the solver on this one. I understand why you've done it, because we are just used to seeing, when people big bet river, we used to seeing big hands. But the natural bluffs are actually easy to find. Sorry, the bluffs are natural ones in this spot, and they're easy to find, even for people like you and I. You and I could conceivably see both you and me taking this range of hands here and doing the same thing ourselves.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So if you're finding these bluffs, which I know you are sometimes, and I'm finding them, we can't say villains aren't finding them, because you and I are fucking filthy stains too. And I know sometimes we will find the bluffs here. So if we are, we've got to assume people who are similar to us are as well.
Yeah, no problems. Okay, yeah, I can take that. I can take that.
Next one. Aces. Oh, I've got this guy's 22, 13, 3, and he basically never falls to 3 bets. This is when I would go into exploit mode, and I would exploit this guy by making a larger than normal 3 bet here. The guy doesn't raise very often. He's 22, 13, and he's not folding off to 3 bets. What have you got on him?
I've got 27, 17. Over.
What sample size is that
Less hands.
Right, okay. Well, based on the stats I've got, I would exploit here and I'd make a 3 bet to 10 big blinds, something like that, rather than 7.5.
Okay.
But that's just very specific to this player. But there's nothing wrong with what you've done. I'm not for a second going to criticise this. Pick up the cold call so that now we can't review it. Pick up another call so we definitely can't review it. And he calls.
Hey.
10, 7, 7. So before we see anything, when you see this flop, what's your initial reaction?
I think I quite like it, to be honest with you. I'm not particularly fazed by it. I quite like it. But yeah, I mean, there's pocket tens out there, isn't there? There's I don't think there's loads of 7x, but
I don't think there is either. I don't think many players are calling the 6-7 suited, the 7-8 suited of the world. We can never say never, but there's 2 combinations of each, so good for them. And then there's that one combination of ace-7 suited. So yeah, someone's got a 7, good for them. Pocket tens is definitely a thing, but then there's also loads and loads of deuces through 9s, deuces through jacks, deuces through queens. On balance, I think I like this flop quite a lot. Check. So now we've established we like the flop. What are we going to do with our bet size? Or are we even betting?
I think here I am, yeah. Yeah.
I've just noticed we are deep as fuck.
Yeah, we are deep as fuck. I think I bet here.
What size?
Probably bigger than I do, but I think probably I'm going to be betting a 3rd here, but I think I probably need to be bigger than that.
I think I like even smaller than that.
Okay, fine.
I think I like smaller. It's multi-way 3-bet pot. It's fucking very, very, very unusual. I'm not looking, given how deep we are, I'm not looking to put all the money in just yet. And I think if we bet too big, if we bet quarter pot here, we get calls from pretty much anyone with a pair. If we bet, say, 2/3 pot here, I think we start making it we give our opponents really easy decisions. If they've got pocket sixes, we bet 2/3 pot, they just fold. And we don't want to be giving our opponents easy decisions, do we?
No.
And I think the larger we bet here, the easier we make it for opponents to play their ranges.
So
I like just betting like quarter pot here. You go 1/3, whatever. Same thing thereabouts. Call. Turn. Interesting. Check. What do you think of our hand now? We've been called in 2 spots.
I think I'm good. I think you can have. I think there's flush draws out there that are calling.
They're not calling again now, though, are they?
No, which is yeah, yeah, no. Which I think is why I checked.
I think if it checks to us here, something I've been picking up on lately, watching a lot of stuff. Oh, it checks all the way through. I think I would have bet really, really, really small on this turn.
Mm-hmm.
Again, like just trying to make it awkward for our opponent. Check-in's going to be okay, but I think there's that tiny bit of value to be had. Well, not tiny, quite a bit of value to be had on a small bet here. What we don't want to do is like bet 40, and then again, people can just like trap us really easily. Quads is just going to call, for example. Tens probably just calling. I imagine pocket tens isn't wanting to 3-bet here. Anyone with pocket tens here is going to be thinking, well, if I check raise, I'm only ever getting called by a 7. So is there any value in a check raise with pocket tens? So I just think here we can just bet really small, and we're just almost never going to get raised. So I think I'd like here, again, just like a really disrespectful bet, like a 5-10%, like literally like anything like 3 to 7 blinds, something like that. I could be misapplying this, but I've seen it on a few different videos lately. These like little tiny bets seem to be increasing in popularity, and so normally what I do in those spots is I see it, I think, oh cool, that's a new toy. I've got a new toy to play with, and then I overdo it, and then I figure out, hopefully try and figure out when best to play and when not to. Right now, where my mind currently is regarding these spots, I really, really like the idea of betting incredibly small here. Maybe sometimes it induces like some spew, and if we ever get folds, it's a fucking massive win when we're bluffing. If we just wanted to like fucking bluff ace king here for who knows what fucking reason, if you're like, well, we bet 6 blinds and we're worried that they're gonna fold when we got aces or what have you, or who knows what. I don't know. I don't think they ever get folds. Basically, I think it almost never gets folds.
Yeah.
So it gets value a lot of the time in spots like this. I think it almost never gets folds. If it does, we find a really cool spot to bluff. And it sometimes induces spew that I don't even know if we want it. If we bet here and there, do we want to call? I don't know. And that's a bit I'm struggling with, because if I do bet 6 blinds here and I get check raised, I don't know what I want to do anymore. But I think I still like the concept of just betting tiny here. We didn't know, and then we get the over bet. So do we beat any value?
Well, I think he can have a queen here. I think he can have a 10.
No, over bet, so. Does a 10 over bet here?
Probably not, but I think a queen does.
mean, what? Who am I kidding? I'm not. I mean, you're going to run into quads here. I think this guy's going to have quads nearly all of the time, and when he doesn't, he's going to have tens full. I think there's no one's bluffing for this.
Yeah.
This isn't a bluff. There's 0% chance this is a bluff. From a 41/3. 41/3s don't just turn up with the 100 and fucking whatever this is, 180% river bluffs. They don't. That's just
Even with the queen.
Well, that's not a bluff though, is it?
No, but that's what I'm saying. You got to put him on a queen some of the time, haven't you? Or not?
Not the overbets. I don't think so.
Fair enough.
I think a queen here might just bet 75%.
Yeah. Fair.
I mean, who am I kidding? I'm not folding because I'm a fucking calling station. So I'm not going to pretend I'm going to make the fucking fold here, but I think we should.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not good enough to fold that.
No, neither am I. Right, and that's why we both play 25 and L. Genuinely, I think we should fold this hand. We've invested 17 blinds or whatever it is, and now some fucking 41/3 wants us to 5x our investment on the river.
Yeah. The way you put it.
So put it this way, right? If ignore the money we put in the pot. Just ignore the money we put in the pot. If I just put this hand up and you're not emotionally involved in this hand, and I said to you, right, mate, you got this spot here. I'm betting you. Sorry, do you want to bet $25 on pocket aces here? So you haven't committed any money. You've got no emotional investment whatsoever. This is the first time I've ever seen it. I'm showing you this, and I'm saying, do you want to bet $25 on pocket aces being the best hand here? Would you bet on it being the best hand or on it not being the best hand? You can have either side of the argument.
When you put it that way, it puts it in a different light.
I'm saying to you can have either side of this argument. I want to bet 25 quid on this hand, and you could pick whichever side of the argument you want. Do you want to bet on the guy betting 100 bigs, or do you want to bet on the guy about to call with aces? Where would your $25 go?
Not with the guy with aces, probably.
No, probably not. I think it's a bad investment opportunity.
Oh, and by the way, I'm not done yet.
Oh no. No,
we have to have a cunt
raise version over
every video.
Suppose he's got a queen, but
we have to have a cunt moment in every video, and this is it. This is it. You know.
Oh dear. Right, so you were offered an investment opportunity that, in my opinion, wasn't very attractive, and you were like, "Yeah, let's put even more in."
That's it. Yeah.
Let's put the pension in there. I won't just put my net worth in. Yeah. I'll give you my fucking pension as well.
The family silver has been chucked in the middle as well, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, when I said at the start that some of these hands I want to know if I can get away from, I think you just answered that question quite well.
Yeah, I just think, like, if we were to just view this from take all the emotion out of it and just who's got the best hand, who do you want to bet on for having the best hand here? I think most people watching this video would want to bet on the guy who's just bet 100 big blinds, not on the guy who's contemplating calling with aces.
But you see, in my head, I was like, what 7x can he have here? He's cold called a 3-bet. What 7x? And when you see what 7x he's got there, I mean, don't want to ruin it, but obviously I lose. And I'm like, what the fuck, mate? Basically.
Sorry, mate. I know that's a big one.
I can laugh.
That's fucking hilarious.
It is hilarious, isn't it? But mate, really, 7-4?
Funny.
I wouldn't have minded if it was 7-8 suited or 6-7 suited, but 4-7. Hello, mate.
Dear me. Right.
Dealer as well. Fuck off.
We've got an hour. How long have you got, sir?
I can do another hour, mate.
Excellent. Let's make a second video then. That's fucking amusing. It's a shit way for you to end the video, but fucking hell, it's gorgeous. Right. Thanks, everyone. There'll be some extra time with Simon later in the week. We'll be straight back with another one. Me and Simon. You lot will have to wait a day or two.